For those of you new friends in the house and online, I'm Reverend Ben Jameson. I am your associate minister here, and it is my honor to share the core value for the day. Here at CSL, we have 7 core values that drive everything we do. Those are love, healing, oneness, abundance, spiritual growth, service, and diversity. And this week, we're focusing on service. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the idea that service requires us to go out of our way and do things we wouldn't ordinarily do. And for sure, that is often an aspect of service. In fact, there are many, many people who go out of their way doing things they wouldn't ordinarily do to help make CSL the amazing place that it is. And we truly honor and value all of your service here. And yet, service isn't so much an activity as it is the consciousness we bring to that activity. From this perspective, anything really can be an act of service. We could look at exercise as an expression of service to our physical body, honoring and valuing the great gift that this body is. Going to the grocery store, instead of being an errand, could be an act of service to ourselves and our loved ones, ensuring that they have healthy, wonderful, delicious food to eat. Cleaning our house can be an act of service to our emotional and mental well-being, ensuring we have a nice space to relax and refresh and renew. So as we deepen our practice of the core value of service this week, I invite you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, to ask the question, how can I make even this an act of service? In so doing, with a lot of time and a lot of attention and a lot of practice, we will establish a service orientation to our life and bring a blessing with us wherever we go that is beyond what would possibly be expected. Friends, it is an honor and a privilege to be of service here with you, bringing a blessing to this community, to the community at large, and to all of humanity as we serve in loving. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Okay, so here's a question that you won't hear asked many Sunday mornings in a church. What do you think the longest running reality TV show is in America? Do you think it's Cops? Bad boys, what you gonna do? America's Next Top Model? The Amazing Race? If you answered or guessed Survivor, you would be right. Survivor debuted on CBS in the year 2000. It has been on TV for 40 seasons. That's 596 episodes. Hundreds of millions of people watch Survivor. It is almost impossible to have not seen an episode or an ad for this TV show. It's so much a part of American culture that I don't even need to tell you what the show's about because you already know. And so now the question is, why? Why do you think this show is so popular? And I believe the answer is because we love to survive. We're all about going through hell and then surviving the misery of it all. We love the drama and the trauma and telling the story of the fresh hell we've been through and how we emerged triumphantly. We're so much about survival that if I were just to sing a few words of a particular song, I'm willing to bet you could name that tune. Let's try it, shall we? At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. And I grew strong. And I learned how to get along. All right, that's enough. What's the name of the song? I Will Survive. Yes, of course you know that song. Thank you, Hal. We all know it. Because as I said before, we love to survive. We wear our survival like a Girl Scout wears an honor badge on her uniform. We are proud of the things we've survived, the bad hair days, the horrible childhood, the breakups, the cancer, all the stuff that we have survived in life, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, the truth is, We are designed by nature as survivors, and that is a good thing. In fact, it's the only reason that we're still here. As a species, we wouldn't have made it this long without strong survival skills. You see, the universe has pre-programmed our brains to react quickly to any threat that we see and then create a strategy to survive it. And that programming is what keeps us alive when we are faced with life or death situations. I mean, think about it. You're in the woods and you see a bear. What do? Do you run? Is that what you do if you see a bear? Do you know? Well, you don't run if you want to survive. You stand your ground, you act aggressively, and you shout and you make noise. And that lets the bear know that you will fight if you're approached, and in most cases will scare the bear away. Bears can be dangerous and unpredictable, especially if you meet one in a bar in Wilton Manors. It's a different kind of bear. You'll need survival skills different for that one. The truth is, as a species, we are capable of extraordinary strength to protect ourselves, somebody that we love, or just a stranger. There are so many stories about how each of us have faced insurmountable odds and incredible odds against us and somehow managed to overcome them. Like the report of the mother who literally went out and lifted a car up, an entire car, to save her child that was trapped underneath. This happened. This is true. And every once in a while, you'll hear the story on the news of someone who got lost. Sometimes a child who's lost in the wilderness for days and days and days without food or water, and yet somehow they managed to survive. Or the story you might have seen recently of a woman whose car slid off the road and into a canal in South Miami, sank to the bottom of the canal, and a stranger walking by jumps in and saves her. And this proves that we are stronger than we know, we are smarter than we think, and we are much more resilient than we ever believed possible. And that's good. That is really, really good. But, and this is a big but what if we are not here just to survive? What if we're actually here to thrive? Maya Angelou said, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, it is to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." I'd say she accomplished her goal, wouldn't you? In a world full of unknown poets and starving artists, Maya Angelou made her mark on the world stage as one of the most prolific and beloved poets of a generation, and she made a fortune doing it. She was a prime example of a woman who overcame a mountain of adversity, and yet she didn't allow herself to be defined by that adversity or a victim of it or just a mere survivor. She taught us all what it's really like to thrive in the face of a world that seems to be stuck on survival mode. Because you see, that's the challenge, my friend, not to be defined, not to gain your self-worth by what you've overcome, not to stay in survival mode. Because you can get stuck there. You can get stuck there and end up repeating the pattern of creating one bad thing after another, just so you can show yourself that you can go through hell and still make it through to the other side. You know anybody that does that? I do. I know lots of people do that. Someone who creates one drama after another just so they can survive it, just so they can emerge as the victor. But what they don't know is that they're not really the victor, they're actually the victim. I know a guy that's stuck in survival mode. He recently broke up with his partner. They've been together for 5 years, and the breakup was so nasty that he has now had to get a restraining order against him. Now, when you talk to him a little more, you find out this isn't the first time. This is the third time. Both of his exes did the same thing. They ended up stealing money from him. One took his car and left town. He had to hire a lawyer to get him back. And when I talked to him, he always asked the same question. Why? Why does this keep happening to me? Why can't I meet somebody who's decent out there in the world? Like many victims of trauma, they look up at the sky and they say, why me, God? Why does this keep happening? And you see, they have the right question. They do. They should be asking why. But they're looking for the answer in the wrong place. Instead of looking up to answer the question, they might be looking in. So if something like this is happening to you or to somebody that you know, if they keep repeating the same negative pattern over and over and over again and asking why, I'm going to give you the question that a therapist asked me years ago when I was stuck in that same pattern in my own life that leads to the answer. And I have to tell you, when she asked me this question, it really pissed me off. Because you know what they say, the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off. So there I am in my session, blabbering on unconsciously, telling her the same story that apparently she'd heard from me before, and she asked me the question, the horrible, truth-bearing question that I dreaded so much to answer. She said, does the story you're telling me right now sound familiar to you? Have you had this experience before? And I'm like thinking, well, hell to the yes, I've had this experience before, and before that, and before that. And then she asked, do you remember the first time? When did you first have this experience? When did this story start? And that's what woke me up. The story that I had been telling for so long started when I was a kid being bullied, and I just kept repeating it over and over and over again, attracting the people to fulfill the drama. You see, that's the thing. We keep repeating our stories until we become conscious enough to change them. Listen to me carefully. Enlightenment is all about being conscious. It's not about being perfect. It's about being awake. Awake. In our book of the month, Creativity, Spirituality, and Making a Buck, the author wrote this: survival skills help us understand that life is fragile and impermanent. Thriving, however, has an entirely different basis. It's accompanied by an awareness of abundance as opposed to scarcity. Now, when I read that, I loved that because I never really had thought about it this way. It got me a whole new perspective. Because if thriving is about abundance, then surviving, its opposite, has to be about lack and limitation. I mean, if you're stressed out and you're overwhelmed, there's a lack. There's a lack of peace. If you're in a bad marriage, there's a lack of love. If you're just surviving financially, there's a lack of prosperity. Every survival story is a story of lack. And so the key to getting out of survive and getting your life into thrive is to create and sustain a consciousness of abundance. Okay, listen up. I'm going to tell you something that probably no one has told you in your life, and it's going to make everything clear. Here it is in a nutshell. You cannot apply the same tactics you did when you were in survival mode if you want to create a life where you are thriving. The tactics, the skills, and the tools that are in your survival toolbox are completely ineffective and useless if you want to thrive. Oh, they were helpful for a while. You needed them to survive. You needed them to get through whatever it is you got through. But now that you're on the other side of it, even if you just want to be on the other side of it, you need a new set of skills, a whole new set of skills And I'm going to tell you what they are. When you're in survival, you need to get. You need to get money if you're not doing well financially. You need to get well if you're not healthy. You need to get some peace in your life if your life is completely stressed out. Survival is about getting. That's why it's all about lack. If you're underwater and you can't breathe, you need to get more air in your lungs. But if you want to thrive, you have to stop trying to get, and you have to start giving. It seems kind of counterintuitive, doesn't it? But it's the way the law works. Survival is about getting, and thriving is about giving. And here's what you need to give if you want to thrive. 3 things. There's always 3 things, by the way. Number 1, give more time, effort, and resources to your own enlightenment. Only when we're awake and conscious can we avoid the boring repetition of negative patterns. Give more of your time to staying awake. Attend CSL. Come here, we'll wake you up. We got music that'll wake you up. If I don't wake you up, our music is going to wake you up. Take a class here. Read something that inspires you. Hang out with some positive people. Give more attention to what's working in your life than what's not working. Tell the stories of what you want to achieve in life. Tell us what inspires you and what excites you. Talk more about your future than you are talking about your past. Those stories, let me tell you, by the way, are so far more interesting than the stories you keep repeating to everybody around you of all the stuff you've survived. I know for a fact because I have to listen to them. So number 1, give more time to staying awake. Number 2, give more of yourself to others. Be generous with your time and your talent and your treasure. You know, my job is to tell you the truth. And the truth is this. You live in a universe that is governed by one simple law, and everybody's life is governed by this one simple law. And that law states, only that which you have first given can return back to you. So if you want to thrive, if you want more from life, you have to give more to life. It's just as simple as that. Billions of people don't know this, and so they're acting from a consciousness of lack and limitation. Occasionally I run into them. Occasionally I get to go have lunch with this woman who is constantly complaining about how little she has, and she's always looking to spend the least amount of money on anything. She thinks she's being frugal, at least that's what she says, but she's really all about being fearful and living in lack and limitation. And when we go out, I know what it's going to be like. Every time we go out to lunch and spend time together, I always pay. She never pays. She never even offers to pay. I always pay. And it's always the same story. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. And I want to say to her, you're never going to get out of survival by giving less to life. The only way that you're ever going to get more from life is to give more to it, is to become generous. Number 2, be generous with your resources, because what you give to others must return right back to your life multiplied abundantly. It's the law. And finally, number 3. Give more love. Give more love. There's a great story about a Jewish man who's having a lot of trouble with his son. The boy is always in trouble. He has no focus in life. He's not doing well in school. He's fighting with his brother and sister. He's getting in trouble. So the man does what a nice Jewish man does. He goes to see his rabbi. And he tells his rabbi the story of his troublesome son. And he says, Rabbi, my boy's a mess. I don't know what to do with him. I'm at my wit's end. It's impossible to deal with him. His mother can't deal with him. He's failing in school. I don't know what to do. What should I do? And the rabbi says, love him more. Love him more. If you're lonely, if you're tired of going through one bad relationship after another, if you're having trouble with your family or your friends, love them more. Love them more. Give more love to them, but start always by giving more love to yourself. So my message for you today is very simple. Get out of survival mode and stay out of it. Give more time to your enlightenment. Be generous with your resources. Give more love. Don't make "I Will Survive" your life's theme song. No more drama queens. We got enough drama queens in the world. Learn to thrive and create a new song and a better story and a more love-filled life. And so ends the lesson. Our enlightenment comes from doing things outwardly like this. Hearing a lesson, reading a book, taking a class, finding inspiration from the people around us. But if you really want to know the truth, if you really want to connect with the source of your life and the energy and the love that rules and sustains all life in the universe, it's not out there. You have to go within.
Stillness I find, Spirit meets me there, Spirit meets me there.
The very first creation of the universe said, "Let there be light." 186,000 miles per second light travels through the universe. It enlivens all creatures and all things and sustains all life. You are a light, and so am I. We bear the same brightness that comes from creation itself. The light that enlivens our spirit, animates our bodies, fills our hearts with love, always stays the same. It is pure and perfect and whole and well. It is abundant and rich and joyous and happy, and it has never been infected or affected by any nonsense in the world we have survived. That light shines as brightly today as it did on the day the universe began, on the day we were born. It is our source. Shine your light brightly. Let's take some time to go within and be still so that we can turn off the monkey mind and the outer noise of the world and go within to see that light, to hear that voice, to feel that love. You know, the thing about the light is If you go into a dark room and you flip the switch and you turn the light on, the darkness is instantly dispelled. It doesn't fight the light. It doesn't hide in a corner. It has no power of its own. It is simply the absence of light. Stop fighting. Stop struggling. Stop surviving. Turn on your light. Turn on your light. And so it is.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find, Spirit meets me there, Spirit meets me there.
We close our service as we always do with this little card. It's an affirmation card. It is a statement of truth about you that we want you to be reminded and remember. Yours is exactly like mine. Let's say it aloud, please. I have survived much in life, but now it's time to thrive. Yes. We are created in the image and likeness of infinite power and unconditional love. We have been placed in an environment and in a world and in a body that is programmed to succeed and thrive. Whatever conditions we have brought into our lives to overcome whatever hurdles have been placed in front of us that we have to jump over, we have done so successfully. We have done so not because we have survived, but because the power within us is always greater than anything the world can bring on. We are made by power. We're infused with perfect love. And so we have the skills necessary not just to survive things that we go through, but to thrive on the other side of it, to live well, to prosper, to be loved, and to be in love and enjoy. This is the life God has designed for us all to live. It's the life we claim for ourselves right now. And so it is. Thank you. We'll see you again next time here at CSL or on Facebook Live at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Did you have fun? Yes. Did you learn something? Yes. We've accomplished our goal. Have a good week.
Thank you for watching, and thanks for supporting CSL. If you'd like to know more about us, check us out on our website or social media. Blessings.